There's a moment that happens in every interaction between a man and a woman. A moment so brief, most men miss it entirely. She's watching you, not your words, not your resume, not even your looks. She's reading something deeper. She's measuring whether you're solid or hollow, whether you're present or performing, whether you need her approval or whether you're already complete. Most men fail this test before they even know it's happening. They scramble for the right thing to say. They explain themselves. They try to impress. They react to her mood like it's a fire they need to put out. And in that scrambling, in that desperate reach for validation, they reveal everything she needs to know. That they're not anchored, that they're not at peace, that deep down, they need her to feel okay about themselves. But there's a different way. A way that the ancient Stoics understood 2,000 years ago. A way that doesn't require charm or wealth or perfect looks. It requires something far more rare. Presence. The kind of presence that comes from a man who has already won the only battle that matters, the battle with himself. And when you embody this presence, when you speak from this place of inner calm, 6 simple words can shift the entire dynamic between you and anyone you meet. 6 words that demonstrate a level of masculine power most men will never understand. Those 6 words, we'll get there. But first, you need to understand why they work. Because if you try to use them as a trick, as some kind of manipulation tactic, they'll fall flat. These words are not a magic spell. They're a window into something deeper, a way of being that the Stoics spent lifetimes perfecting. And once you grasp this way of being, you won't just attract women differently, you'll move through the entire world differently. Let me tell you what's really happening out there. Every day, men are trapped in an invisible war they don't even realize they're fighting. It's a war against their own neediness, against their desperation for approval, against the voice inside that whispers they're not enough unless someone else confirms it. You see it everywhere. The guy who keeps texting when she doesn't respond. The man who explains himself over and over, hoping she'll finally understand. The guy who tries to logic his way into her heart, presenting his case like a lawyer before a judge. These men don't understand something fundamental. Attraction isn't logical. You cannot negotiate desire. You cannot convince someone to feel chemistry with you through reason and evidence. Women don't decide who they're attracted to by weighing pros and cons on a spreadsheet. Attraction happens in a part of the brain that language barely touches. It's primal, instinctive, immediate. And one of the fastest ways to kill it is to need it too much. Here's what modern neuroscience confirms, but the Stoics already knew. When you speak from a place of neediness, when you're seeking validation through your words, the person you're talking to senses it instantly. They're mirror neurons, the same neurons that allow humans to feel what others are feeling, pick up on your inner state. They don't hear your words as much as they feel your energy. And if that energy is desperate, if it's reaching, if it's trying to fill a hole inside you, they recoil. Not because they're cruel, because neediness triggers a biological response that says, this person is not safe. This person is not grounded. This person will drain me. Think about how you feel around someone who constantly needs your approval. Someone who watches your face for reactions. Someone who can't handle silence. Someone whose mood rises and falls based on whether you smile at them or not. It's exhausting. You want to get away from them. Not because they're bad people, but because their presence creates tension. There's no space to breathe around them. Now think about someone who's completely at peace with themselves. Someone who doesn't need you to feel a certain way. Someone who can sit in silence without it feeling awkward. someone who listens without immediately trying to fix or respond or make themselves look good. You feel safe around this person. You relax. You want to be near them. This is the paradox. The more you need someone's approval, the less likely you are to get it. The less you need it, the more powerfully you attract it. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, understood this better than anyone. He wrote in his private journal, meant only for himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't writing about political power or military might. He was writing about the only power that actually matters. The power to remain centered regardless of what's happening around you. The power to be okay even when others aren't giving you what you want. This is the foundation of Stoic philosophy. And this is the foundation of real masculine presence. The Stoics weren't cold, emotionless robots. That's a complete misunderstanding of their philosophy. They felt everything. They just weren't controlled by those feelings. They understood that reacting to every emotion, chasing every impulse, getting swept away by every storm, this wasn't freedom. It was slavery. Slavery to circumstances, slavery to other people's moods, slavery to the chaos of life. Real freedom came from one place only: mastery over your own mind, acceptance of what you cannot control, and fierce commitment to what you can. Epictetus, who was born a slave and became one of history's greatest philosophers, taught something called the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us. Most things are not. What's up to us? Our thoughts, our reactions, our choices, our character. That's it. Everything else, what other people think of us, how situations unfold, what someone else decides, none of that is truly in our control. And the moment you try to control what isn't yours to control, you lose your power. You scatter your energy. You become reactive instead of responsive. You become desperate instead of decisive. Now here's where this connects to attraction. When you understand the dichotomy of control, something profound shifts in how you interact with people, especially women. You stop trying to make them feel a certain way. You stop trying to control their reactions. You stop performing for their approval. Instead, you focus entirely on the one thing you can control: your own presence, your own character, your own response. And ironically, the moment you stop trying to control their attraction, the moment you stop needing it, that's when you become most attractive. Women are biologically wired to seek men with regulated nervous systems. This isn't cultural. It's not about gender roles or societal expectations. It's evolution. For hundreds of thousands of years, the men who could stay calm under pressure, who could make clear decisions in chaos, who didn't panic when threats appeared, these men kept their families alive. Women who chose these men had children who survived. This wiring still exists. When a woman encounters a man who remains grounded when she's emotional, who doesn't get defensive when she's testing him, who can hold space for her feelings without collapsing into them, something inside her recognizes safety, strength, stability, the qualities that have always mattered most for survival and partnership. This is why the nervous, try-hard guy rarely wins. Not because he's a bad person, because his energy broadcasts instability. His desperate need for validation tells her nervous system that he cannot handle pressure, that he'll crumble when life gets hard, that she'll have to manage his emotions on top of her own. This is exhausting to even consider. But the man who can sit calmly while she's upset, who can listen without immediately trying to fix, who can acknowledge her reality without losing his own center, this man triggers something ancient and powerful: trust, respect, desire. Seneca wrote, We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Most of the anxiety men feel around women exists only in their minds. They imagine rejection before it happens. They catastrophize silence. They turn a neutral response into evidence they're not good enough. And then they act from this imagined suffering, which creates real suffering. They become defensive, needy, bitter, or fake, all because they're fighting battles that haven't even begun. The Stoic approach is different. You see reality as it is, not as your fears paint it. A woman seems disinterested. Maybe she is. Maybe she's distracted. Maybe she's testing you. It doesn't matter. Because you're not here to control her response. You're here to be yourself fully, to offer your authentic presence without attachment to outcome. This isn't game playing. This is the deepest form of respect. For her and for yourself. You're saying with your entire being, I don't need you to validate me. I'm already whole. And if we connect, it will be because we genuinely fit. Not because I convinced you or manipulated you or wore you down. So what are the 6 words that embody all of this? The 6 words that demonstrate Stoic mastery in the simplest possible form. They are, I understand you. That makes sense. Let me explain why these 6 words are so powerful they can shift an entire interaction in seconds. First, break them down. I understand you. This is validation, but not the needy kind. Not the kind that's fishing for reciprocal validation. Not the kind that's trying to make her like you. This is pure acknowledgement. You're saying, I see you. I hear you. Your experience is real. Most people never receive this. Most people are constantly trying to convince others of their perspective instead of actually listening. So when someone genuinely says, I understand you, it creates an immediate opening, a sense of being seen that's rare in this noisy, self-obsessed world. But here's the crucial part. When you say, I understand you from a Stoic frame, you're not collapsing into her reality. You're not agreeing with everything she says just to avoid conflict. You're not losing yourself in her emotions. You're simply acknowledging that from her perspective, her experience makes sense. You're holding space for her truth without abandoning your own. This is incredibly powerful. It says, I'm strong enough to let you be you. I don't need to change you or fix you or convince you. I can handle your reality without it threatening mine. The second part, that makes sense, reinforces this even more. You're bringing calm acceptance to whatever she's saying. Whether she's upset, confused, testing you, complaining, sharing a dream, it doesn't matter. You're not reactive. You're not defensive. You're not scrambling to solve her problem or prove she's wrong or make yourself look better. You're simply present. You're accepting what is. You're demonstrating through these 4 words that you have the emotional capacity to handle complexity without losing your center. That makes sense doesn't mean you agree with everything. It means you understand that given her perspective, her feelings are valid. Together, these 6 words create a psychological cocktail that's almost irresistible. They trigger oxytocin, the bonding hormone. They activate the feeling of being understood, which is one of the deepest human needs. They create safety because you're not attacking or dismissing or trying to change her. And most importantly, they reveal your frame. You're not needy. You're not reactive. You're grounded. You're present. You're the kind of man who can handle emotional intensity without getting swept away by it. But here's the thing most men will miss. These words only work if they're genuine, if they come from real presence. If you say, I understand you, that makes sense, while you're secretly seething, while you're judging her, while you're just waiting for your turn to talk, she'll sense it. Remember those mirror neurons? She's reading your energy, not just your words. The words are the gateway, but the power behind them is your actual state of being. If you're faking calm while your nervous system is in chaos, she'll feel the chaos. If you're pretending to understand while you're actually dismissing her internally, she'll sense the dismissal. This is why Stoic practice matters. This isn't about memorizing lines. It's about genuinely developing the capacity to remain centered when everything around you is unstable. It's about actually letting go of the need to control what you can't control. It's about building an inner fortress, what Marcus Aurelius called the inner citadel, that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. When you have this, when you're truly grounded, the 6 words flow naturally. They're not a technique. They're an expression of who you've become. Let me give you the science behind why this works so powerfully. When a woman shares something emotionally charged and a man responds with genuine validation, several things happen in her brain simultaneously. Her amygdala, the fear center, starts to calm down. Her prefrontal cortex, the reasoning center, comes back online. And her brain releases a cocktail of bonding hormones, oxytocin and dopamine, that literally make her feel good in your presence. This is the disclosure reciprocity effect. When someone validates our emotional experience, we feel closer to them. We trust them more. We want to be around them more. But here's the crucial distinction. This only happens when the validation is non-needy, when it comes from a place of genuine presence rather than a place of seeking approval. If she senses you're validating her to get something from her, to make her like you, to avoid conflict, the effect reverses. Her nervous system detects manipulation. She pulls away. But when your validation comes from true acceptance, when you genuinely don't need anything from her, when you're simply being present with what is, that's when the magic happens. Women spend their entire lives around men who are trying to get something from them. Validation, sex, status, emotional support, a sense of worth. It's exhausting. So when they encounter a man who's already complete, who validates them simply because he can, not because he needs to, it's like finding water in a desert. This is what they mean when they say they want a man who has his life together. They don't mean rich. They don't necessarily mean successful. They mean internally complete, solid, whole, not seeking external things to fill internal voids. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca wrote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The man who needs little from the external world, the man who's built his contentment from within, he's the truly powerful one. He moves through life from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. And this abundance radiates. People feel it. Women especially feel it. It's magnetic not because it's flashy, but because it's real. It's the opposite of the desperate energy that repels people. It's calm, grounded, solid presence that draws people in without effort. Now let's talk about how to actually apply this without becoming a cold, emotionless robot. This is where most men go wrong. They hear about Stoic philosophy and they think it means suppressing all emotion, never reacting, always being stone-faced and distant. This is not Stoicism. This is emotional avoidance masquerading as strength. Real Stoic presence is warm, it's engaged, it's fully alive. The difference is, it's not controlled by emotion. It experiences emotion fully, but doesn't become emotion. It feels without being swept away. Here's a real scenario. She's had a terrible day. She comes to you upset, frustrated, maybe even taking some of it out on you unfairly. The average man does one of two things. Either he gets defensive, matches her energy, fights back, or he collapses, apologizes excessively, tries desperately to fix her mood, becomes anxious about her being upset. Both of these are reactive. Both come from needing her to be different than she is in this moment. Both push her away. The Stoic response? You let her be upset. You don't take it personally. You recognize that she's going through something, and you can hold space for it without it shaking you. You might say, "Sounds like today was rough. I understand you. That makes sense that you'd feel this way." You're not defending. You're not collapsing. You're not trying to fix. You're simply there, present, solid. And in your solidness, she finds relief. Not because you solved her problem, but because you didn't become part of the problem. You didn't add your own emotional chaos to hers. You were the calm in her storm. Or another scenario, she tests you. Maybe she mentions another guy. Maybe she cancels plans suddenly. Maybe she says something designed to make you jealous or insecure. Again, most men either react with anger, defensiveness, trying to control her, or they collapse into anxiety, questioning themselves, seeking reassurance. Both are evidence they're not anchored. They need her to behave a certain way for them to feel okay. The Stoic? He recognizes the test for what it is, an unconscious probe to see if he's solid. And instead of reacting, he simply stays centered. I understand you're keeping your options open. That makes sense. He doesn't chase. He doesn't punish. He simply holds his frame. He knows his worth isn't determined by whether she chooses him. He's already chosen himself. This is the crucial difference. Validation without collapse. Acknowledgement without losing yourself. Understanding without agreement. You can see her perspective, honor her experience, and still maintain your own boundaries and standards. You can be present with her emotions without being controlled by them. This is mature masculine power, not domination, not suppression, not collapse. Just steady, grounded presence that can handle complexity without falling apart. But here's what most men fear. They think if they're not reactive, if they don't fight or chase or prove themselves, she'll lose interest. She'll think they don't care. Here's the truth. The opposite happens. When you remain unshaken by her tests, when you maintain your calm while she's emotional, when you validate without being needy, you pass the test she wasn't even consciously giving. You prove you're different from every other man she's met. You prove you're solid. And solid is what women crave more than anything else. Not excitement, not drama, not games. Solid, dependable, unshakable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every challenge in attraction is an opportunity to demonstrate who you are. Every test is a chance to reveal your character. When she's difficult, you get to show patience. When she's emotional, you get to show stability. When she's distant, you get to show self-sufficiency. The obstacles are not preventing you from attracting her. They are the exact circumstances that allow you to attract her by being yourself fully. This principle extends far beyond just women. When you embody Stoic presence, when you master the art of validation without neediness, acceptance without collapse, understanding without losing yourself, you transform every relationship. Colleagues respect you because you don't get swept into office drama. Friends trust you because you can hear their problems without making them about you. Family members feel safe around you because you don't need them to be different to love them. You become a refuge in a chaotic world, a still point, a man others instinctively want to be around. The 4 Stoic virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, they all flow through this simple practice. Wisdom is knowing what you can and cannot control. Courage is staying present when it's easier to react. Justice is treating others with respect while honoring yourself. Temperance is maintaining balance, never excess in either direction. When you say, "I understand you," that makes sense. From genuine Stoic practice, you're not just speaking 6 words. You're embodying an entire philosophy of human excellence that's been tested for over 2,000 years. And here's the beautiful irony. You start this practice to become more attractive, to have better interactions with women. But what happens is you become a better man. You develop real inner strength. You build genuine confidence. You create actual peace within yourself. And as a side effect, as almost an afterthought, you become magnetic. Not because you're trying to be, because you've stopped trying. Because you've become someone who doesn't need to try. You've become someone who's already complete. So let me leave you with this. The 6 words, "I understand you," that makes sense. They're not a pickup line. They're not a manipulation tactic. They're not a trick to get what you want. They're a doorway into a way of being that the ancient Stoics discovered leads to the deepest form of human flourishing. Peace, purpose, power. Not power over others, but power over yourself. The kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself because everyone around you can feel it. Try this once today, just once. When someone, anyone, shares something with you, instead of immediately reacting, instead of defending or explaining or fixing, just be present. Listen, and genuinely say, "I understand you. That makes sense." See what happens, not in terms of what you get, but in terms of who you become in that moment. That's the real transformation. That's what the Stoics knew. That's what will change everything. If this resonates with you, if you're ready to stop chasing and start embodying, if you're tired of being reactive and want to become grounded, do me one favor. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment with just 2 words. "I am presence." Let it be your declaration, your commitment, your reminder that you're choosing a different path than most men will ever find. The path of the Stoic, the path of the man who's already won because he's mastered the only battle that matters. The battle within. And I'll see you in the next one, where we'll go even deeper into what it means to live as an unshakable man in a world that's constantly trying to knock you off balance. Stay solid.